To earn entries toward our giveaway drawings on March 27th and 28th, where you could win a share of over $55,000 in prizes, or race away in a new 2026 Acura ZDX all-wheel drive EV. Get charged up for the Acura ZDX giveaway on March 27th and 28th, only at Live Casino Pittsburgh. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
One of the most incredible architectural masterpieces in the United States is right here in Fayette County. Don't miss your chance to tour Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a world-famous work of architecture that's included on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Falling Water invites you to Fayette County Appreciation Day on Sunday, March 22nd, as they offer free tours for all Fayette County residents. Book your free tour of Falling Water in advance by calling 724-329-8501. Tours will take place between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Sunday, March 22nd. Be sure to make your reservation in advance and don't miss your chance to tour Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a world-famous work of architecture located right here in Fayette County. Call 724-329-8501 and book your free tour today.
You excited for Fish Fry Fridays, but not necessarily sure where you want to go? Then may we suggest the Butte House of Fish at the West Licensing Fire Department on Butte Road in West Licensing. Fish fries are held every Friday through Good Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Dine in or take out. They offer 4 meal options and various traditional sides, including haluski and pierogies. Enjoy a great meal and then check out their Chinese auction, Progressive 50/50, and other raffles and games. See you Friday at the West Licensing VFD.
Nature's Pickins.
This is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Nature's Pickins.
This is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Nature's Pickins.
This is Michelle Higbee from Nature's Pickins, located on 464 Connellsville Street in Uniontown. The phone number at the store is 724-438-4211. The phone number here at the show is 724-438-4593. Do have a guest on with me today. Randy Mouse is going to be joining me here in a couple of minutes. First of all, let me just tell you what's going on at Nature's Pickins. This is our March spring sale. We have it every spring and every October for our anniversary. A lot of different companies are online drives. For example, Solaray is on a line drive. Nature's Way is on a line drive. So you want to take advantage of those. Nordic Naturals has some different things on sale. So does Blue Bonnet. Their targeted choice. For example, their urinary tract, their blood sugar, their blood pressure, their pain and inflammation, their thyroid, their adrenal complexes, their liver detox. All of those things are on sale this month till the end of March, so take advantage of those. Nature's Pickins is located on 464 Connellsville Street in Uniontown. We're right directly next to the Dairy Queen. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, Saturday from 9 to 3. That's Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturday, 9 to 3. I'm going to go on my soapbox here just for a second, and then I'll join Randy. I had a customer come into the store and wanted to ask me some information and so forth, but and then asked me if he could buy it online. And I'm sure you can. But my response was, and still is, small businesses are in business to help you, to, like us, we're here to educate you. We come on the radio every week to educate you. And we appreciate when you shop in our store and buy the products that maybe we talked about on the radio or that we just have in the store. When you come to my store and you ask me for information, then ask me if you can buy it online, that's actually to me like a slap in the face. And I'm sorry if there's any of you out there that might get offended about this, but I support local businesses. I don't shop online. Jeff Bezos got enough money. He doesn't need mine. So I'm just asking you, I would appreciate it if you would consider the small businesses that are out there. Sometimes you may pay a little more, but the education that you're getting, the information that you're getting, you're not going to get on that keyboard. So that's my soapbox for today. But I would very much appreciate it if you would consider, coming up to the store, checking us out. If you haven't been there before, meeting Martha, meeting myself, meeting Kathy. We're there to help you. We're there to help educate you on different things. That's what we're doing. We've done it for 45 years. And we would like to continue to do that. But it takes your support to help keep us doing that. All right. So with that, I'm going to join with Randy. And we're going to get started. We're going to be talking about urinary tract and urinary problems. So if you have any questions or comments for us today, give us a call at 724-438-4593. And we will be more than happy to try and answer those questions for you. Hey, Randy, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I actually want to add something to what you just said.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're going to go on your soapbox too, huh?
I am, because I'm passionate about what you just said, and I spent, many years in a store. And I would have that come up too. And I would always look the person in the face and just out of respect, be like, do you tithe at the place you ask for worship? And so that's how I look at it. When you look for help and you look for guidance, that's the place you should support. So yes. I always use that the church analogy with that. You wouldn't go go to a church you didn't know and ask for prayer and then tell them, well, I'd really like Protestants. I'm going to go over there or something. It's a little too Baptist or whatever it might be. But that just, I love that you said that, because it is important to support your local health food stores. And you're right. You could Google all you want, but you're not going to know what we know. We've been doing this a long time.
Exactly. And I mean, just on a personal thing, Randy, I support local businesses. Doreen and I were just talking before I came in here, and my daughter and I like to antique. And it's so nice to go to those, those antique places that are the old homes that have antiques. I love to support that type of thing. I personally don't shop at all online. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, Jeff Bezos got enough money. He doesn't need mine. So I would rather give it to the local mom and pop stores, restaurants, whatever, than give to big corporations. I understand that sometimes you have to go there because, they've made it to where sometimes, like here locally, Home Depots, Lowe's, Walmart's, they shut down. I'm so sorry. I just got something in the back of my throat real quick. But they shut down our hardware stores. We don't have any local hardware stores. So you have no choice. You have to go there. Unless you would go all the way to Scottsdale, and that's where I go because I live in that area, to the one down there. But, I just would much rather support a local mom and pop They're there all the time. They know the information. Most of the time, they've either taken what we're selling, or they've used what they're selling, and they can give you some really good advice and directions. So I would prefer doing that. So, but that's my
Yeah,
soapbox.
and then to add to that too, that's why I'm so proud of working for the company that I work for, Bluebonnet Nutrition, is because we're still a family-owned business. We're on third and fourth generation working at the store at corporate.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's bigger companies out there. There's global companies. There's companies owned by Nestle, Procter and Gamble, and it's that's one of the things that people do like about our company, is that we're still family owned. We may not be the cheapest, but we do consider ourselves the best, and we consider giving our customers the best, and it resonates with the consumers that purchase our product. They know what's in that bottle. They know that we went that extra mile for them.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing I'm really proud of.
Right, and with Bluebonnet, for an example, for the listeners that are out there, when you take something and it works, compared to a lot of times you can buy a product somewhere else and it's much cheaper, but you don't get the results. And fish oils, Randy, is a prime example, because I have a lot of people that'll buy these cheap fish oils. And then they'll come into the store and they'll ask me a question, and I'll say, well, you probably need to try fish oils. And they're like, oh, I tried that junk. That junk doesn't work. I said, well, because you tried the wrong one. Where did you buy it at? And they'll tell me, and so forth. And I'll go, well, try this one. And then they'll come back 2 or 3 weeks later to replenish their bottle because it worked. That's the difference, for the listeners out there, between a company that cares about the quality of the product they're putting out and not just the bottom dollar. A lot of these companies that are out there are just worried about the bottom dollar, what they're going to make from it. They don't care about the quality that's out there, so you want to make sure you get a good one. That's why I do what I do. That's why we've been in business 45 years, because we handle products and companies like Bluebonnet that cares about their product, and they want to make sure that when you take something, it works. With that, Randy, we're talking about urinary tract today. Bluebonnet's urinary tract is the number one product in our store for urinary tract support. It has worked, even personally for me, over and over again. I have never, not once, had one person say they did not get benefits from that product. Urinary tract problems are a huge issue around here, probably countrywide as well, especially in older people. We have had a lot of people coming into the store with recurrent urinary tract infections, bladder issues. Now, I realize that sometimes it's because hydration. You and I talk about hydration, I think, at probably every single radio show. People just don't seem to be drinking enough water or enough fluids. They're not getting hydrated. And I know that Bluebonnet just come out with this new product called Hydration. And I wanted to ask you about that too, because I've had some people come in the store and said, listen, I know you're going to tell me drink water. I drink water all the time, but it doesn't seem to be, do I want to say the word absorbing, being utilized properly? Would a product like the Hydration help enhance that water for those particular people?
It does, and I'm glad you're bringing this up. This is actually something that we just got back from California to do a trade show.
Oh, yeah, I
And,
forgot about that. How was it, by the way, just to interrupt you real quick?
Expo, yeah. So it was good. It was good to see retailers there. You also saw a lot of healthcare practitioners. You started seeing more pharmacists.
Oh, okay.
A lot of international and all that, and that actually brings me to a certain particular instance, and I think this will kind of give a narrative for what you're talking about. So I'll come back to hydration, but I had, for instance, a particular. She's a healthcare practitioner. She's a pharmacist also, and she had a health food store. And then we're talking about some of the new products, and I was telling her, you see trends in our industry, and one of the trends, you're exactly right, is seeing an uptick in UTIs or urinary tract infections or UT problems of that sort. And not every customer is going to come in and ask about that, but the stores that I've seen successfully help their customers are putting out a display talking about, urinary tract infections or UTI health and support. And a couple of stores have done this, and they've had a lot of success because sometimes a woman will come in and she may have that issue, but she might not want to talk about it, or she might be embarrassed, or she might not thought of the health food store because the general approach, Western medicine's antibiotics for that. But they have, what we call, in fact, the lady who works at this health food store, she came up with what she called the trifecta. And that is the women's probiotic with the Roselle A, which has clinicals, specifically the strain in there, it's called Roselle A, has clinicals that help get pH back to where it's supposed to be, 4.5, 5, somewhere in that ballpark, because if your pH is too high, you have yeast overgrowth; too low, you have E. coli. So there's where you're getting those, that E. coli overgrowth, which causes a urinary tract infection. So this is a specific bacteria that is shown in women to help with pH in the clinicals. And then you add the D-mannose. Now, D-mannose is interesting because, if you look at E. coli, it looks like a stick. So it likes sugar. So when it sees D-mannose, it binds to the sugar, and so it can't bind to you, so it's easier to flush out of your system. So there's your second product to add on that. And then the S. boulardii, which is another bacteria, where actually it's a non-pathogenic yeast, but actually goes in and attacks any yeast, mold, or anything that's not supposed to be in your system, so that you can flush out your system and your immune system can attack it. So there's kind of your trifecta that, if somebody comes into your store, hey, this is something that I can do for 8 weeks that helps. And then the maintenance, I love our targeted choice urinary tract. It's a great product. It also encompasses a lot of what I said, and can be added to this, or even, be done with the Roselle A. So it's got such a great track record. And then, yes, back to us saying, now you tell the customer, okay, here are the products you're taking for that specific issue and all the support, but let's kind of back up a little bit. Why are we continuously having that problem? When you get dehydrated, E. coli grows easier. And so now they're like, I just thought about hydration as like, it's important to have minerals and all that. And that's true, but you can't truly hydrate without minerals, and you can't stay hydrated without that. And this all goes into urinary tract health. Now, to be specific about our new hydration that we did launch, I love it because it's so simple, and it's in a category that can be confusing, because you have a lot of different variations. You have some that have really high sodium, like Element, and then you have some that have really high potassium or not as much magnesium, and they're kind of all over the place.
Right.
And customers will come in and go like, well, which one do you think? Are they all just the same? And that's generally the sentiment. They're just all the same. Well, here's what we did that's different from everybody else. Our hydration is the exact ratio of sweat that you lose. So the minerals that you lose in sweat, we copied or emulated that exact ratio. So what's going out, we copied that so it goes back in. And we feel that's a more sustainable, more balanced way to help people with hydration. What's coming out, let's put back in, let's do it the exact same. That way you don't have too high sodium, because I did notice with some of them, the element. I loved it first, but then I was like, oh my gosh, I am swollen. I mean, it's just too much sodium for me. And heart palpitations. Yeah, it was like, that's just, I thought it was hydrating, but that's not really that responsible when you're doing that much sodium. So I started, when we came out with ours, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that makes sense. So if a customer comes up to a big 4x4 area of electrolytes, you can go to ours and say, what you sweat out, this puts back in exact same way. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, that makes a big difference because a lot of them, like you said, are very high in sodium. And there are people out there, especially some older people, and not that it's not a younger person, can't be a younger person's problem either, but have high blood pressure, for example, have liver disease. And sodium is a big no-no for them. So if they're trying to get hydrated and they're, drinking these really high sodium electrolyte drinks, that could actually make their situation probably a little worse. So they really want to be very careful when it comes to that. So that's really good that, Blue Bonnet's hydration is formulated to put exactly back what you would be losing.
Exactly. Electrolyte balance. And then the other thing I love is has theanine in it. And so think about when you're working out, it puts stress on the body, or you're sweating or working, hard outside. Theanine helps with that, helping with that, and also with focus, endurance, and all that. So it's nice that that's in there too. So sometimes it gets missed, but I like to tell people it's got theanine in there also, which I love. A big fan of.
Yeah. Now with the hydration, is it something that somebody can use? Because there's really nice little pre-packets are really nice. I like those. So is it something that somebody can use on a daily basis?
It's something I use on a daily basis. I tell people to use on a daily basis. A lot of us drink purified water, which is good. But again, it doesn't have a lot of minerals in it. It's not necessarily the same amount of minerals that we need. So having that balance in there when you drink them, that's key to get, the water and hydration into your system. So it is definitely something that everyone can use. It's definitely something that helps so many other things, not just urinary tract. You're talking about energy levels and recovery. And so it's actually just something that you need every day.
So when we're talking about urinary tract infections, it's not just a female problem, though. Men can get urinary tract infections as well. So you originally said with the trifecta, the women's probiotic. What if it's males? What would you recommend the trifecta for men for?
Okay, so they can also take the urinary tract because you notice it's got pumpkin seed in there. And
well, that's the urinary tract. What I'm asking you about, I guess, is the women's probiotic you recommended for the trifecta for women. What do men take?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. They can take the urinary tract also.
Okay.
But then that's where the Aspergillosis comes into play.
Okay.
So that Aspergillosis, anytime you get exposed to viruses, microbes, pathogens, Aspergillosis has a really good way of binding to those pathogens so that your immune system can see them. And that's going to help you fight off anything like bacteria that's not supposed to be around. But with men also, you see hydration and prostate kind of coincide.
Okay.
So I like to usually add the MPX because you're helping with inflammation.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, prostate issues, which most men have a mild amount of, we get older, it's just kind of our Achilles heel. So that prostate health is important. Hydration is important because if you're dehydrated, then you have that E. coli growth, and that's where you start seeing those urinary tract, especially in men. So that trifecta would be a probiotic. It could be Aspergillosis, but it could also be a general good probiotic, like the ones that we have.
The pre-pro post?
Yeah, the pre-pro post would be great. It's one of the stronger ones, and it's a bigger scale there, and then you also get the benefit of the stress release from that gut-brain axis. And then you look at the urinary tract, or doing D-mannose, of course, and then also like MPX. So prostate health, hydration, good bacteria, urinary tract support, and as we also know, pumpkin seed in there helps women with incontinence, but also, or can help with incontinence, and then pumpkin seed's really good for prostate health too. So it's actually, that product can go for male or female. It can be added on to, yeah.
The pumpkin seed.
The urinary tract.
Oh, the urinary tract. So I read an article from the NIH talking about pumpkin seed oil and utilizing it for urinary tract and bladder issues. And the study that they talked about, they got a really good response with it. There was a 12-week study, excuse me, placebo, pumpkin seed oil versus the placebo, and the pumpkin seed oil got tremendous results with it. Can you add extra pumpkin seed oil, say, to the urinary tract, or is the urinary tract have enough in it to support that urinary issue?
So the urinary tract is going to have enough for like a supportive system.
Okay.
And that's why I also say on the targeted choice, you can go up to 3 times label claim.
Okay.
Because it's still going to be, that's kind of considered the therapeutic version of it.
Okay.
But if you're looking for the benefits of the pumpkin seed, I mean, I'm a big fan of pumpkin seed. I especially for men and especially for women, because it's very specific in what it helps with.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can absolutely add that. And I know women don't like to talk about it, but incontinence is very, very common.
Yeah.
And pumpkin seed is one of the best things that you can take to help, support that. And then with men, anything that helps to support the prostate health is also going to be beneficial. So, yeah, I mean, what's funny is you have customers come in and they have a certain thing that constantly bother them. And you do see men and women now more equally with urinary tract issues.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with not only age, but also with dehydration and what's out there. It's like, yeah, drink water, and yes, that's important, and take your minerals, and yes, but really balancing those electrolytes is what we should be doing. And like you said, we should do that on a daily basis.
I have a lot of doctors, urinary urologists, that will send their patients, into our store after D-mannose. It seems that D-mannose is getting a lot of recognition for its use with urinary tract problems. Do you believe D-mannose is a really good thing to use on a regular preventative if you're one of those people that's getting recurrent type urinary tract? Maybe D-mannose is something they should be using all the time or only when they have it?
Here's how I look at D-mannose. The thing is, there has been, like you said, a very big trend up on that product.
Mm-hmm.
Consumers have come into the store. They are male, they are female. The biggest issue that I always have is that, it's 500 milligrams for, let's say, one pill.
Mm-hmm.
And we get into this area where that's not a high enough dose to help. You really want to saturate, because what you're doing is you're giving the higher dose that you have, the more efficacious it is, which helps flush that bacteria that's not supposed to be around, E. coli. And so that's where I tell people, you really want to be at 2 grams a day. And that's going to be for, maintenance, to be very honest. You can go up to 4 and 6 grams a day if you're, trying to really flush the system out. So I generally said, yeah, you can do it on a daily. I try to move them away from thinking of like, oh, it says 1 gram or 2 gram or, one pill a day. It really should be closer to 2 grams a day. That's where you're going to see the benefit, especially from a daily support.
Yeah.
So that's where I was trying to tell the customer that's important.
Yeah, because listen, it can be very dangerous, these urinary tract infections that people are getting today. We've had quite a few customers that have come in the store that were in the hospital for weeks because of it. So, it's nothing really to just let go and play around with, especially with the older people, I find. So, I felt it was.
I'm gonna add one thing to that real quick,
Mhm.
and this is something that I saw personally happen to a family member. They were having dementia-like symptoms,
Mhm.
and went into the hospital. Found out they had a massive UTI,
Yep.
and of course had to get intravenous antibiotics and all that. And that's what it was. That's one of the symptoms of a severe urinary tract infection.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind.
Yeah. My mother-in-law actually was one of those as well, and she ended up in the hospital for a week because of that. You could see just minor things was happening to her mind-wise, and it was like, wow, there's something going on. So took her, and that's what she ended up having as well, was a urinary tract infection, a pretty bad one. And once that got under control, she was back to normal with no problem at all. And now she takes the urinary tract by Bluebonnet all the time.
I don't blame her. That makes sense.
Yeah, she was like, nope, that's not going to happen again. And she's been really good, knock on wood, for over a year now, almost 2 actually. So she's done really well with it. And you're right, though. That's one of the first symptoms usually that older people experience is the dementia-like symptoms. And then later, find out that it's a urinary tract infection that was just not paid attention to, I guess. What I find, Randy, though, is a lot of older people, like Marty, for example, wasn't having the classic symptoms, wasn't having the burning, wasn't having the pressure sensation, not running back and forth to the bathroom 20 times with, very little urination, wasn't having that, so that's why I didn't really think that it was that. It was through taking her to the hospital, having the urinary, because that's one of the things I always do is we need a urinary sample, do that, and then that's how they found it. So a lot of times people don't have those classic symptoms. You're so right when it comes to the dementia thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised that happened also. When I heard that, I was shocked to hear you talk about that happening also. It just I'm glad we talked about this today, because there might be somebody out there that this is not something they thought about, and that this might lead them in a better direction. So I think it's good that came up.
Yeah, absolutely, and just check. It's don't be embarrassed. It's not an embarrassing situation. It's just something that, unfortunately, the older we get, these things just seem to creep up on us. And it's if you're having it and you're not feeling right, then just go get checked. I think that's the best thing to do. When you're dealing with different issues like that, the urinary, tract infections, and maybe incontinence and just bladder issues in general, Randy, there's so many different antibacterials out there that are on the natural realm, like garlic and green tea. I couldn't tell you how many articles is probably out there on green tea having that antibacterial effect also. Would those be something that maybe someone should look at, maybe incorporating into their regimens if maybe urinary problems is an issue for them?
You know, I actually really like the ones that you mentioned, and I'm going to add two more that I know you already know about, but olive leaf and oil of oregano.
Okay.
I mean, those two are really, really strong. Obviously, you can smell them; they are very strong. But those are those beneficial oils in there that have those antibacterial properties. I always laugh a little bit about the oil of oregano, you know, because it might make you smell like an Italian restaurant. But
I
it
would
will
say
knock out.
pizza.
It will,
I always go, you're going to smell like a pizza, but that's okay.
yeah, but you're not. It's going to knock in whatever you have out. And another one that I've liked for a long time, but not everybody can take because if they're on medication, but is grapefruit seed extract.
Oh, right.
I mean, I got to tell you, and this is something like if I ever had like a throat or respiratory or anything like, you know, upper area, I would get that GSE, that liquid grapefruit seed extract.
Oh, right, from Nutribiotic.
Yeah, that one, and of course it tastes terrible because it tastes terrible. But I have a trick for that. You actually put your head back, and you use the droppers. You know, or it comes in a dropper, and you make the drops fall in the back of your throat because all your sour and bitter are at the front of your tongue, and only your sweet are in the back. And so when you do that, you just taste the sweet part of the grapefruit, and you kind of like let it soak down a little bit, and then you just chug some water real quick, and you could do it that way.
I'll tell you what I do every day. You're probably going to laugh, but I use one of the mouthwashes from the store, and I have Nutribiotics GSE, the grapefruit seed extract, in my medicine cabinet, and I put 2 drops in my dose of mouthwash every day, and I swish it and gargle it on a daily basis. And then you don't taste it, you don't get the bitterness from it. But one thing that I do as well is I soak my toothbrush in it because, you know, your mouth is so full of bacteria. And even though there's good bacteria too, you know, it kind of, you know, builds up in that toothbrush. And even though you still switch your toothbrush out like once a month or something, that's what I do. But anyways, this helps to keep it clean. And so I do that after I'm done brushing. It goes directly in my little water cup thing with grapefruit seed extract.
That's a really good idea. I didn't think about that. Because, I mean, that stuff kills about anything.
It does. It does, yeah. Yeah.
And if you've never had it out there, trust me, you will know if you've had it.
Oh yeah. Listen, one time years and years and years ago, it was probably been 25 years ago or so, I got strep throat, and I did the grapefruit seed extract, and I gargled it. It was horrible, but it took care of the situation. I didn't have to do, and I'm not saying that, you know, people don't have to do antibiotics. I think I wouldn't want to be in a world without antibiotics, but I think there are times that you can use other things, and that was one time for me. It worked really, really well, but it was bitter. But I did it exactly just with water. So, you know, that makes a big difference when you're doing that. But there's a lot of uses for grapefruit seed extract. I don't think that it's talked about enough. You know, it's got some tremendous uses. I also wash all of my vegetables and fruits in it. You know, put it in a basin and put about 15 drops in a basin, mix it and put them in there and let them soak for a few minutes, and then take them out and let them dry to help get that bacteria and stuff that might be on the fruits and vegetables, because, you know, you just don't know today, you know, about our food and where it's been, or who, you know. I'm sorry, I guess it's almost sounds like I'm paranoid, but I'm not. I just would like my food to be clean, you know.
And see, this is a perfect example when you go into a health food store, how much you learn. We've both been doing this a long time, and then we both get reminded about things that we've been taking for many years.
Yeah.
And what's funny is you're probably going to have a customer come in, and you're going to go like, "Wait a minute, we just talked about this." And so that's the great thing about having a person to talk to in a health food store that you know, or maybe you just met, because these scenarios come up all the time, and I tell people, I'm telling you, we could have a conversation about this, and next thing you know, there's somebody going to come in that door and say, "Hey, I've been having UTI problems," or "Hey, I've been having prostate issues," or what do you have that's a good antibacterial, that I can use, and how do you use it? And it never fails. You're going to have somebody come in tomorrow, even if they haven't heard this show, and it's going to come up. I'll put money on it.
Oh, yes, I totally agree with you. Cranberry is always the standby. Anybody comes into the store, that will say, "Hey, my doctor said come and get cranberry extract. Start taking cranberry." Sorry, you'll find cranberry in a lot of different products. I always use the description of cranberry as like Teflon to the urinary tract. Is that?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it mildly acidic, which is a good thing. And keeping that it's a dark berry too, you have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, like any fruit,
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go into like the clinicals and in that, there's some good, there's some kind of medium and all that, but here's the issue, it doesn't always have to have that for it to work for people, because people have been using it for a long time, and they can tell you that it works for them. So I do like cranberry, and you're right. It's kind of that go-to that everyone hears about,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't tell you how many customers have over the years that this is what works for me, and you have to go with that, and that's what we pass along to people. Like, listen, we have so many customers that take that; it helps them. So I'm obviously a big fan, because that's our customer educating us and telling us what's working, and we're not hearing from one customer; we're hearing it from hundreds of customers.
In the urinary tract support, the targeted choice has cranberry in it, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It does, yes, along with D-mannose and some other fun stuff. But you're right. It's just a good balanced formula. And I think it's like a great maintenance formula too. So that's something you could do on a daily. And then if there's a persistent issue, then we have that trifecta we can add on to it.
Okay. Vitamin C is something that probably, if you're having urinary issues, that probably should be in your regimen as well.
Vitamin C, yes. So anti-inflammatory, again, great for immune system, great for making mildly acidic, because it's acetic acid or ascorbic acid. So it follows along those same lines. But you already know I'm a big fan of liposomal C.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, and I just to tell people, if you take regular C, you need to take little doses throughout the day. The benefit of taking a liposomal C is you get a big dose all in one, where it gets in your system really quick. So it's because it's fat soluble, so it gets in a lot faster. So you get a higher dose, you get that benefit of anti-inflammatory. It's great for allergies. It's one of my favorite things to take, like one or two of those liposomal Cs for allergies. Anything that's inflammatory, I mean, it can kick in really quickly.
Well, it's also good for the immune system. So, when your body is under that type of trauma, your immune system is what's going to react. So, taking, some extra vitamin C is going to, help with the immune system. So I can only see that it's going to benefit the body in the long run.
Exactly right. It's good for so many things. I mean, Linus Pauling obviously kind of brought it forefront for everyone, 30 years ago or longer, about how important it was, not just for it's not for only because we can't make it, we have to get it through our diet. It's that it's involved in so many things with health and prevention and anti-inflammatory, immune. And so it's one of those staples, and that's why every vitamin C you ever see on this planet probably has vitamin C in it, or even these support formulas have vitamin C in it, and it's also important for collagen absorption, and
Right.
which is for integrity of that tissue, and that's also important for your urinary tract, is to have that integrity in that tissue, and that's where vitamin C and collagen can come into play with that also. So I'm just kind of throwing a few bigger pictures out there for your listeners.
Did you know that Linus Pauling was taking 18,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day?
Yeah, I knew it was up
That's
there.
crazy.
I thought it was 20 grams or so.
Yeah, that's
but,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I was like, wow, 18,000? I'd be in the bathroom.
I think hopefully I had to build up to that.
I hope so too, yeah. Hey, real quick, I know that we're only 2 minutes from the top of the hour, but if men are having the nighttime, waking up at night, that's usually an indication of prostate, urinary tract problems. So that's probably something that they should probably check into and make sure there's not an issue, correct?
Oh yeah, that's something that men want to check regularly, and they, after a certain age, that does happen. But also, men we're stubborn, and it's like, I don't want to go to the doctor or get anything checked out. Obviously, that's something that men should get out there and do. It's super important. You don't want to get sideswiped by ignoring a problem and just say, well, it's just normal, and definitely take your supplements that are beneficial for it, for prostate health, for hydration, for good bacteria. All those things are important long term, no matter what. But at the end of the day, that's just like women have to get checked for breast cancer or uterine issues and all that, men need to step up and make sure that they get their prostate checked, and that's very important.
Hey, Randy, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you very much, and I hope that we can schedule a few more shows in the future. It's always a great time with you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to it. You guys have a great week.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for...
several times, so do that, but pay attention to the symptoms, and make sure you're checking with your doctor as well. All right, have a great afternoon. WMB's Uniontown.
An active shooter situation at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, one of the largest Reform synagogues in the country. Smoke can be seen coming from the Temple Israel building, which Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard says has been fully evacuated and all students are safe.
At least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him, engaged him in gunfire. The scene, we're not getting any active stimulus at the moment.
More from CBS's Scott McFarland.
The sheriff, who's been there for decades, said that there's somebody suspected of opening fire at a Jewish facility. That person has not been caught, so they've had to boost their presence at other facilities, religious facilities throughout Oakland County, Michigan. So there is somebody being sought who potentially is targeting religious facilities.
Old Dominion University says a gunman is dead.